What do we want? Flawless concealer. When do we want it? Now! And by we, I mean you. So welcome. If you are on your quest for flawless concealer, you have landed on this video, then you're in the right place. Welcome. My name is Saj. I'm a pro makeup artist with over 15 years of experience in all aspects of makeup. The number one search term, the number one asked question in everyone's makeup application is, how do I get a flawless under eye concealer? And with that comes a bunch of answers. It's, oh, use a brush, oh, use a sponge, use a wet sponge, use a dry sponge, use puff, use a this, blah, 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 blah. So today, what we are going to do, we are going to try every single one. First up, we are going to have some controls in our little flawless concealer experiment. The concealer that I'm going to be using is Dior Forever, and this is shade 2.5N. This is my thickest and most full coverage concealer in my personal makeup collection. So I chose this one. All the tools that everyone has recommended, we are going to be trying today. Let's start off with the sponges. And by the way, these are just, because see, this is what I was raised on. When you can do a makeup, when you can do a full flawless makeup with one of these, okay? All right, I was born into the darkness. You merely adapted it, okay? All right, starting off with our big beauty blenders. Big beauty blenders. So we're gonna do damp and dry, and we're gonna see how it goes. So this is gonna be my damp sponge. I'm just gonna go ahead and wet her now with my water. Drops of water, okay? So she's nice and saturated. I squeeze the excess out, nice and damp. We're also going to apply the concealer the same way every single time, so we kind of get the same amount of product. And I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this. Okay, damp sponge. And we tap and we blend. Okay, so this is side one. Dry sponge. Okay, and this is our dry side, and this is our damp sponge side. All right, class, what do we see? What are we noticing in the differences between the two? Now, I am going to say that the drier side has more opacity and more coverage, and the damp side is more blended and more melted into the skin. Now, the thing is, these sponges are actually made to pick up excess product, which is why even using full coverage and you start blending, you're noticing that it's going on with a more sheer application, and then you've got people walking around pointing fingers at the concealer when it's the sponge. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is actually what they were created to do. They were created around the time of HD TV from Beauty Blender, and the idea was to create a more seamless application that translates better for HD TV. So we would apply our makeup, and then we would take these sponges, and then we would start pressing and smoothing, because it picks up excess that is just sitting on the surface of the skin. So if you're looking for a really sheer and lightweight coverage, you can go with a damp sponge. If you're looking for a medium coverage still giving a skin finish, you can go with a dry sponge. I also have tiny sponges, which we are going to do next because these were made specifically for the under eye area. So we're gonna try these the exact same way, one damp, one wet. And we can also decide, okay, is it worth getting the little extra tiny sponge, or can you just go ahead and, because it's basically the tip. It's like the donut holes of the donut. For my removal process, I have a bunch of already wet makeup erasers. And these are just wet with water. I can't find my second baby egg. We're gonna just do dry first, and then we're gonna wet it, and then we're gonna apply it. So same thing again. Baby sponge. So this is the baby sponge dry. And then I'm gonna wet. And then we're going to damp baby sponge this side. Okay, so this is the damp baby sponge side. Exactly the same. No difference. The only difference is this is just a lot more awkward to hold, to be very honest with you. Even as a pro, I don't always reach for the tiny sponges. I kind of more use them in artistic ways. Okay, next is the velour puffs. I've got a few of them, but we're only going to try two because they're basically the same thing in just different shapes. And this is another thing that we've seen. We've seen the new Flawless concealer hack is to apply your concealer using a puff. Some say dry, some say damp. We're going to try both. So this is going to be, this one is going to be my damp. So I'm going to give it a good spray. All right, wet. And then this one is going to be our dry. And for the sake of this and the sake of y'all stressing me out, I'm using the same shapes. I'm gonna apply it the same way. Off with the damp sponge. Puff, I should say. Okay, so this is the damp puff on this side. And this is our dry puff. And this is our dry puff side. Damp puff this eye, dry puff this eye. Let me know what you guys think. Are you seeing a difference? I'm seeing the same thing again, which again, the science, it makes sense. The damp puff side is less coverage. It's more sheer in application versus dry, because again, the dampness is going to pick up more product. And the nature of these two, they are going to pick up a little bit of product. I do find that they're picking up less product than the sponges, because again, that's what the sponges were designed to do. These were designed to press in and smooth makeup, so not pick up excess. So we're getting a nice application. Damp versus dry, I think the application is both equally smooth. The difference is in the opacity. Whew. My under eyes are going through it. Do not say I have never done anything for you guys. All right, next we have the spatula. I don't know what to compare the spatula with. Should I compare it with my finger? Is that like, does that seem like a good comparison? I think so. I think so. So let's do finger application versus spatula application. And I think this spatula thing came from the Asian beauty world. I don't know if it's K or J or C beauty. I don't know whose beauty, but it was everywhere. It was everywhere. I was like, we're gonna go blind. I'm scared. So this side, I'm gonna do my finger to blend. And this is a way that you guys have seen me do lots of times. And off the jump, you see that coverage? Yep. Yep. I love that I chose an incredibly puffy under eye day to talk about concealer, but that's keeping it real. We keep it real over here. Okay, so this is our finger application. Do our concealer for the spatula side. Now, I feel like the spatula, they usually put the product on it, but we have to kind of keep our control the way we have it. So let's just see. Now, I actually tried this in my private community. Every Tuesday, we break down makeup hacks, makeup trends. We try to see what's really real or what they're just doing for the gram, what's edited versus not. And trust me, that has to be in a private beauty community because we spill some tea, honey, okay? But we did try the spatula foundation application and it was really nice. I'm not gonna lie, it was flawless. If you're interested in joining us, I will link in the description along with all of my tools. But this is already a no. This is such a no for me. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. So this, I mean, it was a lot of work on the face to apply your foundation with a spatula, but it was nice. I was actually very surprised. It did work on the face. The under eye, I think it's just too small of an area, or maybe if you're using the same product on your face under your under eye, so you're doing this, you know, as opposed to just trying to concentrate like I'm doing in this area. But I've seen people use it just for the concealer, so that's why we're here today. I don't think I need to ask you guys anything. I think it's very clear as to our winner for this one, okay? All right, let's remove again. Now we're on to the brushes. So the big thing with brushes is the type of brush that you use for your under eye concealer. So I have my personal favorite, a small fluffy brush. This is not labeled or marketed as a concealer brush. It is marketed as an eyeshadow brush. That's usually where you find a brush like this. Some brands have shapes like this as concealer because someone there cooked. Someone there cooked, okay? Then the other popular shape and recommended shape for concealer, is this in focus? Is a dense, kind of paw shaped brush. I have a pointed version of it, but it is still that, like if I spread it a little bit, you'll see, can you even see? Hang on. Okay, if I spread it a little bit, you can see that it does have that paw look, right? All right, so we have our concealer in. And I'm going to take our dense brush. And the main application difference between these is when you have a dense brush, you pat, and when you have a softer brush, you buff. So this is patting versus buffing. All right, so this is our dense brush that we pat. We use a patting stippling technique, and then I'm going to put our concealer back on. This is our fluffy, small fluffy brush for the under eye, which we use in a more buffing flick of the wrist kind of motion. Now, if we look at both applications, we can see that the paw brush one on this side is a more opaque, more full coverage application. The other side is more sheer. We still have coverage, but this to me sits on the surface of the skin more. Now, not necessarily a bad thing. I think that you should let your under eye speak to you on which it prefers, because it's going to tell you. It's going to say, listen, ma'am, I don't like that. Don't do it again. For me, my under eye say absolutely not. Okay, if we look at the two, you can see more creasing, and it's not the product, it's my under eyes. I have natural folds on my under eyes, so the more stuff that's sitting on the surface, because if you hang on, we have a science minute. Give me a second. Let me cook. All right, so this is our under eyes, mine at least. All right, natural folds, pleated if you will, on my under eye. So if I put a lot of product that just sits right here, where you at, product? Okay, a lot of product that just sits on the surface of the skin like this. And we think, oh, okay, yeah, it looks smooth. But then I start smiling, I start talking, and then it separates. And then we're just seeing just these lines of makeup, right? And it's not looking good because it's just sitting there, right? And with that brush, you have to pat. So if you think patting, this is all we're doing, right? This is all we're doing. Whereas if we take this type of brush, small and fluffy, the nature of this brush means a different movement. So we have to kind of be buffing and things. So when we're buffing, we're going in between my little pleats. We're going in between my little pleats, right? So as I start talking and as I start moving, I have consistent color throughout, and there's no difference in texture because we don't have anything just sitting on the surface like this, right? It's all up in there. So as I move to our eye, it's not a big visual difference. Okay, so not that this brush is a bad thing. I think it just depends on what your under eyes have to say about the topic, because I can see here is a whole lot going on versus here. We have another type of brush, and I'm actually going to keep this side. I'm going to remove this side, and I'm pulling this one out because 2016 is trending right now. Everyone wants to go back to 2016. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's bring out a 2016 classic. Let's do that. Because were you a beauty guru if you weren't using one of these babies? We have the actual artist brand brush, who is the brand that really put this style of brush on the market. So let's try it. I took off the paw side because this is another dense brush. So let's just replace one dense brush with another dense brush and then compare it with the fluffy side. Now these actually, I started tapping by habit, but these are actually sweeping brushes. Maybe this actually would have been a good comparison with my finger, because that's what these were made to. They were made to mimic the shape of our finger pads, because we use, you always see a makeup artist in somebody's face, and it's for a reason, right? It just gives a finish that you don't get anywhere. The shape of our fingers, the heat that's coming from our bodies, heat to heat, that skin to skin touch. So we don't have the heat, but 2016 might have been doing something, because thank you for reminding me. This is actually really, this is nice. Let me just blur the edges out a little bit more. This is with the, a dense sweeping motion brush as opposed to dense patting brush. And now I feel like I should have left the other dense side, because now it's pat versus sweep. Dense, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, because it's not necessarily comparing, we look in. All right, and then we're going to decide which one we want to do for our makeup applications. And this is what I am here for. I am here to help you understand the why and the reason behind things, because you can't keep chasing and trying on. I mean, you can, but like, why would you want to? That's exhausting. And if anything, our beauty routines is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be our little safe space before we go outside into this world. Like, we need to at least have something, you know what I mean? Something. So my goal is always to help you understand the why behind things and the results that will happen because of the why, because of the reason. And then you can say, actually, you know what? I am that person that just wants a little share thing. So I'm always going to use my Beauty Blender wet. And now I know why. So if I come across a video and a girl says, you absolutely have to do your concealer with a dry sponge, because if you don't, then you don't know what you're doing. You can say, actually, I do. Thank you very much. Because this is what works for me. This is the look that I want to achieve. And this is the way to go about doing it. Period. Because if you think about it, it's like, if you don't paint your house beige, then you absolutely don't know how to paint. No, you do. You just choose pink. And that's fine. So these are our Flawless Concealer makeup application tool hacks. Let me know, was this helpful? Which one were you using? Are you going to continue using it? Or do you feel like, actually, maybe I need to switch to something else? Comment and let me know. Tell me all the things. Is there a hack that I missed? Because we can do a part 2. I love me a good part 2. Is there a hack that I missed? Let me know. Also, do we want to talk about setting? Because that's a whole other thing. Notice I didn't use any powder. We're just talking about getting the concealer on the face. How do we even get the concealer onto the face? That's what this is about. So if you want to talk about setting next, we can do this all over again, but with powder. Okay? Did you guys want to see me do this? Why not? For funsies. Let's just do it. All right, so let's go dry first, obviously, because that makes sense. All right, so this is our wedge sponge dry. I'll say the thing about the wedge sponge is when you wanna, which is why it had this shape anyway, It really is that, girl. It really is that, girl. But it is also why it is so hard for people to use, because you also have to know how to blend out the geometric shapes, because it really will, oh, I forgot to wet. It really will give you, like, you'll just see little lines and little triangles as you're blending, so you really have to. Oh my gosh, the torment. Okay, so it's wet now. This is our wet side of the wedge sponge. The density of these sponges. The issue is the angles and the shapes. You really do need to know how to use it to not get that angular imprint in your products as you're applying. And as we have been seeing, which has been consistent with our sponges, anything that we're using damp versus dry, the damp is more sheer and the dry is more opaque. That is our video today. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and again, comment and let me know your feedback. Let me know your thoughts on this video, if it was helpful for you, if it was not, because we are working on this channel, working on growing and working on teaching you more and helping you through your makeup routines with pro, gentle parenting makeup expertise. All right, I will see you on the next one. And as always, I hope this helps. Bye.